in this session of Physics New Era. In that one we are going to know about the fluid in motion, actually how the fluid moves. Now that motion is in terms of physics, in terms of motion we are going to know. The first definition that we are going to know is a steady flow. Actually it is one sort of, we say, measurable property such as pressure and velocity of the fluid at a given point is constant over time. That is known as a steady flow. But here it is, the liquid which is flowing inside the flow tube or any vessel, just like this. Here the phenomena such as pressure and velocity of the fluid with respect to time we are need to measure, and that is known as a steady flow. Okay, and then later on we have the flow line. See what exactly is the flow line. It is a path, actually flow through or particles which are moving through the fluid along a given line, or we say that here the blue particles, they are moving inside the vessel or any tube, and they are moving in a single line, or it is moving through a line, is known as a flow line. Means it is a path of a individual particle in a moving fluid is known as a flow line. Okay, the next is a flow tube. Actually the container in which, or we say that it is the imaginary bundle of or flow lines bound by an imaginary wall. This is the imaginary wall which is shown here. The cursor shows the imaginary wall through which the fluid is flowing. Maybe the fluid which is flowing a laminar in a single line or within a given flow line. Okay, but here maybe also it may flow just like a irregular, that is known as a turbulent kind of flow. Just see the laminar flow definition. Actually it is a steady flow in which the adjacent layers of the fluid move smoothly over each other. See here the blue lines shows how the layers, they are moving one above the other, and the central part, it is moving with the highest velocity since they are moving one above the other. As their lines are parallel to each other, they never intersect, and hence it is known as a laminar flow. It is also known as a streamline flow. The next is a turbulent flow. In this flow, liquid whose flow pattern changes continuously, maybe a rotational kind, maybe a eddy pattern it forms, just like here it is shown. It is known as a turbulent kind of flow. Now the next is next is difference between streamline flow and turbulent flow. In that one we know that streamline first, that is a smooth flow of a liquid with a velocity smaller than the certain critical velocity. This concept is new to us, that is critical velocity. It is a limiting speed below which the liquid flows, and that flow is a streamline, and above which it is a turbulent. So there is certain velocity smaller than this velocity is known as a streamline flow. Okay, so irregular and unsteady flow of a fluid, when its velocity increases beyond, the word is beyond means greater than the critical velocity, is known as a turbulent kind of flow. So in streamline flow, the velocity of fluid at constant given point is always constant, and in case of this one turbulent flow, the velocity of the fluid at any point does not remain constant, and hence two streamline flow never intersect as they move parallel to each other. But in case of turbulent flow, the fluid have the rotational motion, maybe produces one sort of eddy pattern. In that one we already saw the diagram. And the next is a streamline kind of flow. A plane surface assumes to be divided into number of layers, that is a laminar kind of flow, and these are parallel to each other, are known as a streamline flow, which are parallel to the axis of the tube. Axis of the tube is a tube which is parallel, actually passing through the center of the flow tube, and it is parallel to each other. The next is a flow tube, means in case of turbulent flow, the flow tube loses its order and particle moves in random direction in all possible, maybe forming one sort of eddy pattern and all that. This is the difference. And then later on we are going to know about the critical velocity and Reynolds number. This is very interesting because already we know the critical velocity. It is a limiting velocity below which the flow of the liquid is a streamline and above which it is a turbulent. So it is a velocity beyond the streamline flow becomes turbulent is known as a critical velocity. As the critical velocity depends upon the coefficient of viscosity of the given liquid, and it is also inversely proportional to the diameter of the flow tube, and hence it is also inversely proportional to the density of the liquid, and hence togetherly Vc is equal to some constant. That constant is known as Reynolds number into eta upon we say density of the liquid into diameter of the tube. Hence these are the given values or the notations. Vc critical velocity, Rn Reynolds number, and eta coefficient of viscosity. Okay, and we say eta is a density, sorry, eta is a coefficient of viscosity, and rho is a density of the fluid, d is the diameter of the tube. Hence a Reynolds number can be obtained using this basic above equation, that is Vc is equal to Rn into eta upon rho into d, and hence Rn, all other terms bring to the LHS. We are going to get Rn is equal to critical velocity into rho into d into upon we say sigma, or sorry, eta, and that's Rn is equal to Vc into rho into d upon eta, and hence using this one we can obtain the Reynolds number value. As we know, the main thing is this one, the Reynolds number greater than 2000 means flow is turbulent, and if the value Rn is in between 1000 to 2000, flow of the liquid becomes unsteady, means it is in between steady and turbulent. And in case of Rn, when it is less than 1000, the flow of the liquid is a streamline kind of flow, and hence we have the viscosity relation. Now what exactly is this viscosity? The friction between the fluid itself and surroundings. These properties of the liquid is known as viscosity. And viscous flow, now we have need to consider different layers of the flow with a different velocities. We know the different layers are moving with a different velocities. The central layer flows with the fastest and the outermost layer flows slowest is known as a viscous flow, because they are in contact with the flow tube, and central it is not in contact with the flow tube, so vigorously it is not getting any sort of opposition. So we say that central layer it is moving fastest, it is known as viscous flow. Non-viscous flow, this viscous flow it is possible with the oil, with any other kind of liquid. Best example is oil. In case of non-viscous flow, all layers flows with the same velocity, there is no dragging force, is known as non-viscous. Example, pure water, viscous drag. Opposition is nothing but viscous drag in short. But viscous drag is a property of the fluid by virtue of which the relative motion between the layers and the fluid experiences a dragging force, means only the same layer opposing each other, that is known as viscous drag, or opposition given by the liquid itself is known as viscous drag. Now the velocity gradient, this is very important part, because on the basis of that one numericals problems are asked. So here it is, if let us consider the boat, it is moving along the surface inside the lake contain calm liquid, streamline flow. So when any boat it is moving, the upper layer moves with that velocity of that boat, means as we go inside the liquid or a lake, the layers of that fluid moving with a lesser velocity as compared to the upper layer. That means if I need to consider the vertical is a y-axis and horizontal is a x-axis, then change in the velocity from upper layer to lower layer is a change in the velocity, that is dv, with respect to distance from the upper layer to lower layer. Hence this is dv upon dy, means a change in the velocity with respect to distance is known as velocity gradient. And hence the next is a coefficient of viscosity. This term According to the Newton, once again our friend Newton has given the formula for this one, that is for the streamline flow. It is applicable for the streamline flow. According to Newton's law, for a streamline flow, viscous force acting on any layer is directly proportional to the area of the layer and also proportional to velocity gradient. That means F is directly proportional to A into it is proportional to A as well as velocity gradient, that is dV upon dy. So constant of proportionality is eta. Eta is nothing but coefficient of viscosity, and hence eta, coefficient of viscosity, eta can be written as F upon A into dV upon dy. Hence eta can be defined as the force per unit area per unit velocity gradient is known as coefficient of viscosity, and its unit is Newton second per meter square. And hence this is the basic formula regarding this one.